crying, and I was so touched, and his presence was so thick. I had no other chance than he did something in my heart. And that night, I said, Jesus, if you are real, this was the first time I've prayed in my whole life, genuinely, you know, I said as a kid, I said, oh God, help me or something. I just said it out of, I was not thinking about it. I remember those times where I said, oh God or something, but it was just, a thought. I know it was God, but I wasn't thinking much about it. But this time I was genuinely, I said, Jesus, if you are real, I got on my knees, please heal me. Heal me from this sickness, from this eating disorder, from this mental thing, from all of that. Yeah. Heal me. And I'll believe in you. Heal me. If you are real, I'm gonna believe in you. Hi, I'm so happy that you clicked on this video. And before I start, I just want to tell you that, I'm from Germany. I live in Germany. I was born in Germany. My parents are from Serbia. So I speak those languages. That's why, English is not, my English skills are not perfect. So bear with me. It could be that I'm struggling to find the right word here or there, or to pronounce it right. I'm sorry for that. And also my voice is a little bit rough and crackling because I'm still recovering, just for you to know that. Yeah, I'll just start with my childhood, I have to say, I don't really remember much about the first years of my life, and I'm talking about until I was 7 or 8 or something. I don't remember much, and I don't know why. I think, and this is just my opinion, I think that it's because of the traumatic stuff I went through. But I'm not sure, But the things I do remember are that, I have 2 sisters, by the way, and the youngest one is from another marriage from my mom, so she's my half sister, but I love her just as much. And it wasn't always easy, but I'll go back to that to explain it. As I said, I don't remember as much the first years. What I remember is my dad was working a lot. He was barely home. He really got out of the house very early and he came back late. And sometimes I didn't even, I couldn't even, I haven't seen him some days because he was working that much. And I'm thankful for it because he was providing for us, and we always had food and the basic things. We always had, basic things and things to play with. Even though my sister and me, we shared a room, and it wasn't always easy because we are so different. I'm very sensible. I'm very emphatic. Yeah, that's the one word I cannot really pronounce right, but you know what I mean. And my sister is she's harder, she's just tougher, and I'm just more, I'm just more how's the word, what's the word, I don't know, my heart is just different. God gave me, a heart, compassion, I don't know. And yeah, we shared a room. It wasn't always easy. And that time, I remember my mom was stressed a lot because she was alone with us all the time. She carried the burden you know, and it was too much for her eventually. And she opened herself up to me a few years ago, and she told me, you know, it was hard for her. And I understand that now, from where I am now, what I've learned, what I've went through. I understand that now. But when I was a child, I couldn't understand why she was the way she was, you know, why she let her anger out on me that much, more than on my sister. And it really was. It was just, I don't know. I really don't know why. So I remember her being stressed a lot, and you know, this is something I forgave. I forgave her a long time ago. I forgave her. God helped me, you know, to forgive her, and I did. But it happened. She abused me. She was stressed a lot. She let all her anger out on me. She yelled very much at me, and you know, I was a very active kid. I was very, you know, full of life, and it was quite too much for her at times. So she let her anger out on me, and you know, I don't want to go too much into detail, but what I can tell is that, you know, it was bad at times. I couldn't even go to school because I was so beat up, you know, that I remember that time she beat me that much with a belt, I think is the right word. Yeah, it was a belt, that my legs were blue, red, like they were, I couldn't even walk. It was that bad. I remember. I couldn't go to school. You know, it was pretty traumatic. And I've struggled a long time to forgive her. This is not the only thing that happened. The real nightmare started for me when I turned 9 or 10, and my parents divorced. And you know, it was very hard for me because there was a real war going on between my mom and my dad. My mom was, you know, shutting him out of our lives. Even though we loved him, we needed our dad, you know, he was always good to us. My dad is the type of person, he was beat and abused a lot when he was a child. That's why he made the promise, when he receives kids, he will never lay hands on his kids. And he really, truly committed to that. He never laid hands on me. I cannot remember that. He never laid hands on me. I just remember the one time that he yelled at me so much, and I think he grabbed me and yelled at me but it was okay because he was driving and I was so loud, and he was already very tired because we were on our way to Serbia. So he grabbed me because he was scared of, you know, causing an accident because I was so loud in the car. So I fully understand it now, but at that time I shook. I was just, because I wasn't used to my dad. First of all, he wasn't around us very much. It is what it is. He was working a lot. And second of all, he never, you know, grabbed me that way and, you know, screamed at me that way. But that was the only time I remember. And when they divorced, it got really out of control. My mom married a different man very fast, and I couldn't even comprehend because it was so fast. She married another man. She brought that man into our home. She invaded our home, and he was not a good man to my mom. and he was not a good, person to us. He beat my mom up, and I remember that time, and now that I recall it, I can feel this fear I had when I was young. It was so traumatic for me. I was so scared. I got up late at night. I heard, I heard something. I heard screaming, and I got up. And my sister, she's two years younger than me. At that time, I guess she was about 7 or 8 years old, and I was 9 or 10. And I was always the protective sister. I had it in me, always. I was always very protective. And I told her to stay in the room. I looked, I looked what's going on, and I saw my mom standing on the door. We had a glass door, it shattered, and her whole hand, I don't know which side it was, but her whole hand was full of blood. He just, I don't know how it happened, but he hurt her, and the glass was broken, and she was bleeding. So I assume what he did to her. He didn't stop when he saw me. He didn't stop. He was so aggressive, and I thought it looked like he really wanted to kill her. He was so mad. And I called the police. Yeah, I called the police. I didn't know what to do, and I knew when I called the police, my mom would be mad at me, but I had no choice. I was like, okay, this is too much. I called the police. They came. He ran out of the apartment. He ran away. I don't know where he went that night, but he wasn't there anymore when the police came. And my mom was lying. She said that she injured herself, and the police didn't believe her. So he asked me. He took me away from my mom. He went to to my room, to my sister's room, and he asked me. He said, "Hey, you called us, and what happened?" And I told him, and I said she is lying, and he said I remember. It was so sad. He said, "I believe you, but I can't do nothing about it because your mom is saying everything is fine, and she hurt herself." And he even apologized to me. He said, "I'm sorry, I can't do nothing." And I was so sad and also scared because I didn't know, will my mom beat me up? So yeah, she was very mad at me, and I remember her not speaking to me for a long time, and I couldn't understand. I was so confused because all I wanted to do was I wanted to protect her, so I couldn't understand why she was the way she was to me. Anyway, the time went on, and as you can imagine, many traumatic things happened in my childhood. It was very hard for me. I even got sick because I couldn't comprehend, I couldn't handle the stress they put on me. And yeah, it was it was not a nice time. My father also, he told me many years, a few years ago from now, he told me, when you were young, he told me what he went through, his side. And I know he is not innocent, because I know there was a lot of cheating going on between, you know, my father and my mom, cheating and all that kind of stuff, like crazy. But he told me his side of the story. My mom told me her side of the story a few years ago, when I was able to forgive them, to forgive my mom especially. I was open to hear their sides, and now I understand, you know, I understand. I'm not angry or mad or, you know, anything anymore. God healed me, and it took me so many years, and I couldn't forgive. And this hatred was in my heart. I was such a aggressive kid, you know. I was so aggressive, and easily, you know, I got mad or angry really easily because this hatred was in my heart, and I couldn't let it go because I didn't know Jesus at that time. My mom and my dad, they did not believe in God, so I was raised as an atheist. I thought there is no God. And the only thing I remember is my dad mocking Christians or people in general who believed in God. He was mocking them. He couldn't believe why it was stupid for him. He thought people who believe in God are stupid, even though some people are clearly not. Our doctors are, you know, whatever. They are not stupid. And but he was, no, they're stupid. He can't understand that. He was mocking them. I remember when I was small, I don't know how old I was exactly, but every year we went to Serbia for vacation and to visit our family, because our family is still in Serbia. And I remember when we were there, he was always arguing with Christians. He was always arguing with people that believed in God, and whatever God, Jesus, or, you know, whatever, he was mocking them. That's all I can remember regarding to God and faith in general. We only went to church, you know, it was more a cultural thing. We went to the Orthodox church. It was more cultural, but I've never felt love, Jesus, compassion in this church. I just felt it was so fake there, and I couldn't grasp on as a kid. I just remember as a child, I was never really welcome. And now from my perspective now, you know, it was just a dead place. There was no Holy Spirit. There was no, you know, nothing. So the church we went through, we just got, I think, probably maybe 2 times or 3 times a year we went to it. I don't think it was even that much. But one time a year, definitely, we went to church. For some, you know, for Christmas or something like that. Yeah. When I get older, now, oh my gosh, I don't want my testimony to be that long, but I have so much to tell you, and I'm kind of struggling to find the right words in English, so please bear with me. I'm getting to where I want to go, and it will make sense. When I got older, when I was in my teenage years, as it, you know, it's often like that when you don't have Jesus, when you are not raised with the Christian values, you just, you know, go on in life and you sin and you do those things. And I was having relationships at a very young age, and I'm not proud of that. I repented a long time ago, but I was I was smoking, I was having ungodly relationships, sexual type, you know, very young. And I don't know, my dad was never, my parents were divorced, so my dad had no power over what happened with me. And my mom was just, she didn't care because she had so much. She was, you know, she was raising us alone. And my second sister came when I was about 13 or something, 12 or 13 years. My second sister came from the second marriage, so my mom had her hands full, so she wasn't really watching me. So I did a lot of bad things. I was in bad company. I was doing a lot of bad things, and I'm not proud of it. What did I do? You know, I was just drinking a lot. I was just, you know, struggling with sexual sin. Satan he just, you know, brought these people into my life, these friends and, you know, men and women. At one point, I even got a relationship with a woman. I was 17. When I think about it, it's just so, I can't believe what I did. But I know I didn't know any better at that time. There was no one teaching me about, I didn't know who Jesus even was. I had no idea. So I really had to forgive myself for how I was and how much I was sinning against God. I had to forgive myself, and that was the hardest part, honestly. For me. I had a relationship with a girl, and then I met a girl. I met her when I was in a work. Yeah, I was working with kids and with children, and she was also working there, and we just, you know, we just bonded. But after a while, I felt something strange from her. She started having feelings. She said she felt something for me, and she never felt something for any woman whatsoever, never in her life. And I know this was Satan. This was Satan, you know, making her to, you know, giving her these feelings for me, because she wasn't a lesbian. She wasn't even bisexual. It was just, I just knew Satan wanted me to go in that direction, that, you know, homosexuality. But thank God, there was something in me, and I don't know, I'm sure it was God. Who else? God gave me something in my heart. I felt this was not right. What I'm doing is not right. I just got to the conclusion, this is not right. I cannot tell why, but this is not right. So I cut it off. I've never ever looked with lust at a woman ever again after, you know, these things happened. Yeah, I cut those relationships off, and even with that girl, because, you know, I knew this was just not a good connection. She always tried to come back in my life, you know, and at one point I even gave her a chance. But then when our friendship developed again, I thought, okay, we can be just friends. And she was just normal to me. She was behaving very normal. But there was one night I was sleeping over her apartment, and I was sleeping on the couch and she was on her bed, and we were watching a movie, and she started, you know, being very weird. Something in her face changed, and she looked at me with lust. And I was like, oh no, this is starting again. So that was the moment. At that time, I was a Christian, but I was not as committed. But I still felt, God, you know, you cannot do this anymore. You cannot do this. Cut this off. I felt God, and I cut it off. But I had, you know, a lot of unhealthy relationships. And yeah, God, I just pray that you give me the, you know, I have just so many memories and I don't know what to tell you, where to start. Please help me, Jesus, to, you know, find the right words. Speak through me. Jesus, speak through me. Yeah, so the years went on, and I was doing my school, was working, was studying, studying. And when I was about 18, I got my first real bad heartbreak. I met this boy, this man, and our relationship went really fast, and it was just so fast because, you know, I'm the type of person, when I open my heart up, it goes, you know, I'm just giving the person everything, and you know, people love that. They just love that I love them, you know. I got my heart broken very badly without going into detail. At that time I was no Christian. I was 18 in that relationship. While I was in that relation, I'm sorry, I'm just gathering the information. I want to give it right. When I was 18, when I still was in that relationship, I developed depression. I developed anxiety. I never had depression in my life at that time, at this point. Never. I developed depression. I developed panic attacks. I developed them, and it's just, please Google it. It feels horrible. It feels like you are dying, and every time I felt like I was dying and I was shoved, you know, I went to the hospital a lot of times because I never knew that I had panic attacks. I never knew that my problems in my body came from the anxiety. I never knew that. I just felt like dying or having a heart attack every time, and the doctor and the nurse, nobody could help me, you know, nobody could help me. They did their tests and everything, but they never found something. So I was so stressed, and I was in a very, very bad condition. And at one point I even fell unconscious. I fell unconscious, and because I was in such a bad state mentally, I fell unconscious, and I developed huge anxiety and eating disorder. I developed I just had problems. I don't know how to explain it, but the anxiety was taking hold of my organ, of my stomach, I guess. I couldn't eat. I was so thin at that time because every time I tried to eat something, I felt, and I know this was demonic. I know this from now because Jesus delivered me a long time ago. He showed me these are demons that are sitting in my stomach, and these demons are the reason why I couldn't eat, because I tried to eat and it just felt like a demon was sitting on my chest, on my stomach, and I couldn't eat. I really wanted to eat very badly, and I tried, but I couldn't, and I couldn't explain to my family. They were worrying a lot about me, and I don't know what was happening, and you know, my state was not good. I was not good at that time in my life. And then there was a time, there was a day, a night, it was a night. When I was 19 years ago, the relationship failed. I was in that state. And then there was this night, Jesus spoke to me the first time in my whole life in that way, in a dream. I was sleeping. I was sleeping, and all of a sudden in my dream, I heard God. I heard his voice. I heard God clearly, and I don't know how to explain it to you because I was an atheist. I was not believing in God. I never knew what God's voice is. Sorry. But in that dream, I had a revelation. God spoke to my spirit. I knew in a dream, this is Jesus. I knew it without knowing, I knew it. And he spoke to me in the dream. And in the dream, I was in a very dark pit. I was sitting in a very dark pit. It was no room. It was like a pit. I can't explain it. Like I fell into some pit, and it was dark. And when I heard Jesus' voice, he was speaking. It was like a light came into that darkness. And I can feel Jesus right now. I can feel his presence right now. I'm sorry. I can hear him read the Bible. He said to me. I'm sorry. He said, read the Bible. It will help you. That's all he said. And when I woke up, I didn't know what happened. I was like, am I, that was just a dream. I tried to brush it off, like, okay, no, there is no God. This cannot be. But he sent me the same dream again. The same dream again. A few days or weeks after the first. The same dream. And I was like, wow, okay. This is not normal. This is something I cannot explain. I just felt God, and I brought a Bible. And the first time I started to read at Genesis. But because I had no Holy Spirit in me, I couldn't understand. I was like, what is that? I was like, I cannot believe that. Because it sounded so weird as an atheist to read Genesis, to start with Genesis. For me, it was weird. I couldn't believe it. I just took the Bible. I stopped reading. I was like, I cannot read that. I cannot read it. I cannot believe in that. And after some time, I felt God. I felt, I don't know, at that time, I didn't know it was God, but at that time, something in me, I had such a big urge to read the Bible. It was unbearable. I felt like if I don't read that, I'm gonna die or something. I don't know, it felt so urgent. So I started to read it again, but this time the New Testament. The New Testament. And I remember the day I was sitting on the balcony. I was reading. I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop reading. And then finally I came to the part where Jesus, who Jesus is. I came to the part where I found about Jesus, what he did, that he died on the cross for our sins, so we could be free in him and have everlasting life. When I read that, and the holy, and his presence hit me, the moment I read it, Jesus died. I was done. I was crying like a baby. I was crying. crying. I've never cried that much. I was so, I cannot explain. And I'm sorry, I see the light is going, no, it's getting darker, but it's okay. I was just crying and I was so touched, and his presence was so thick. I had no other chance than he did something in my heart. And that night, I said, Jesus, if you are real, this was the first time I've prayed in my whole life, genuinely, you know, I said as a kid, I said, oh God, help me or something. I just said it out of, I was not thinking about it. I remember those times where I said, oh God or something, but it was just, a thought. I know it was God, but I wasn't thinking much about it. But this time I was genuinely, I said, Jesus, if you are real, I got on my knees, please heal me. Heal me from this sickness, from this eating disorder, from this mental thing, from all of that. Yeah. Heal me. And I'll believe in you. Heal me. If you are real, I'm going to believe in you. You know what? The next day that I woke up, it was all gone. It was all gone. I even went to therapy. And and it was gone. The depression was gone. The fear was gone. The anxiety was gone. The eating problems were gone. I was like a whole new person. My whole mental issues and physical issues, they were gone. I even called my therapist and I said to her, I don't need it. I told them I don't need it anymore. They were confused. I said, I don't need it anymore. I am healed. So that's how I got to, I got to know Jesus. I was not looking for him. He chose me. I didn't choose him. He chose me. And I had no other chance than saying, yes, Lord, here I am. And you know what? From that on, my journey began as a Christian, but I have to say it wasn't always easy, and there were times I fell back. Because I was new and I had no one around me who was a Christian, no church, no nothing. I knew nothing. I was falling away, but Jesus took me back. He grabbed me back, because after I got saved, I was very on fire for God, and my whole family, they still don't understand what's wrong with me, why I am believing in Jesus. But I see God is moving my family. I see it after all these years. I see some changes. And I've seen things in the spirit that God told me about my family. And I'm waiting for it, because I know he is after my family. Hallelujah. He's after my family. And he'll do it. He can do it, and he'll do it. And I have faith. He promised things. He promised some things. I have faith. So yeah, maybe I'll do a part 2 for what happened when I received Jesus. I think I'll do a part 2. But this is the main testimony. This is how I got to know Jesus. May God bless you richly. May he open your heart. If you cannot believe in him, please give him a chance. Just get on your knees and say, Jesus, is this true, what this woman is saying? Just get on your knees. Just ask him, is this true? And he will reveal it himself to you in a way. Okay? Believe me, he'll do it. So God bless you richly, and I thank you for staying on here for so long, and now 40 minutes. It's so long, but I'm so thankful, and I thank Jesus so much for blessing me, for for everything. May He help you and guide you and keep you. Okay? Bye.